right now. Today is the day that you choose to change the rest of your life. It is time to turn your setback into the greatest comeback story ever told, and nobody is more capable than you. This is the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast, the future #1 weight loss podcast in the world. I am your host, Donato Russo. I hope you enjoy the show today. If this is your first time here and you enjoy the show, please subscribe and spread the word of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast wherever you are and to whomever will listen. If you'd like to connect on social media or wherever else, check out my Linktree page, Linktree/the Ranting Weight Watcher. Let's connect today. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 205 of the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast. If this is your first time here, I want to welcome you to the show. If you enjoy it, please consider subscribing. If the app that you're using to listen to the show allows you to write a review or rate the show, please consider writing a review and leaving a 4-star or 5-star rating. Doing this will promote the podcast growth by updating an algorithm, which in turn will make it easier for anyone else looking for a weight loss or related podcast that is using the same app as you. One of the best things you could do to support this podcast is to literally tell anyone you know that is in the same position we are all in, trying to live a healthy life. Tell them about the show. Show them how to find it. I want to give a special thanks to all of the financial supporters of the podcast. Thank you so much for considering the Ranting Weight Watcher podcast a worthy investment of your hard-earned money. If you are interested in becoming a financial supporter of this podcast, there is a Linktree link in the description of every podcast episode. When you click it, you will be taken to a website where you will see a button that says Become a Financial Supporter. Click that button and you will be given the options available so that you can choose from there. Well, let's not waste any more time. Let's get into this! Journey updates. I am down a half a pound this week, so 0.6. Total loss in January 2019 is 176.6 pounds. Total pounds remaining to get to 200-pound milestone is 23.4 pounds. Today, I got a great episode planned for you. It is part 6 of the Redemption series. We join it right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. It is part 6 of the Redemption series. I mean, can you believe that it's already been 6 months that we've been working together? Isn't that, I mean, that's just, to me, I mean, when I was writing this episode, I'm just thinking to myself, wow, it's been 6 months already. And it just seems to fly by. I feel like I just finished producing an episode and we're ready to record the next one, kind of thing. It just goes by so quickly. I think it's so awesome that we are here and we're 6 months in. I want to do a 6-month check-in. I want to see where you guys are at mentally, physically, you know, how you feel about the experience so far. So I'll start with, how do you feel about the past 6 months we have worked together? And if you guys want to talk about your progress, go ahead and mention your progress. So we'll go each person around the room and we can get going there. Who would like to go first? And Marie, go ahead.
So I've seen a lot of growth in myself. Originally I committed to strength training for 2 days a week through midsummer, and then it went to 3 days a week. And what I've noticed is that I'm actually a lot stronger and my knees don't hurt. I used to have a constant pain in my knees going up and down stairs. And I noticed it the other day, like my knees aren't hurting like they used to hurt. And so I've seen a lot of growth in myself, and it's been really a positive experience. And I've lost 16 pounds. So
that's awesome.
That's great.
Great job. Great job. I love that. I love it. Would like to go next. Go ahead, Taffy.
I gotta tell you that I feel so much stronger physically and mentally. A lot has happened since probably I'm going to say June 1st is when things really kicked in. I gave up alcohol, I gave up processed foods, stopped sugar, except for I did find honey that was locally, organically from Florida. So I use a little bit of that. But I've seen a transformation, and I've actually heard it from others that are not weight related, like my skin, my hair, my nails. I haven't taken an Advil, a Tylenol, no pain medication since June 1st. I haven't taken an antacid. I haven't had a migraine, which is incredible for me because when I moved to Florida, I had more migraines than I ever had, and I blamed it on Florida. What does that say? And I've lost 13 pounds,
Okay.
but all these other things are just really exciting to me.
That's so awesome. I love it. We'll get more into everything second. Okay. Who would like to go next? Go ahead, Phyllis.
Yes, I've seen, and Taffy, that's so exciting to hear about that progress and the physical changes that you're seeing. That is so encouraging. Similar things I have noticed. I would have said before we started that I was really doing well with my regular activity. But then when we joined this group and I started recording it and I post on our little Facebook group, I noticed that I wasn't doing as well, but posting it has really encouraged me. And I've noticed this summer was doing a lot of swimming and able to swim longer, farther. My walking, I've been taking 5 to 8 mile walks, and they're not a challenge to me anymore. I don't do those every day, but I've noticed my endurance has increased. And I swim during the summer because we have this great community pool, but I've enjoyed it so much. I actually found another indoor pool that I can use. And so I've started going there. And it's not as much fun as being outside, but I'm enjoying it and realizing that I can work that into my normal kind of life. I haven't lost a lot in the last 6 months as far as weight, but I have definitely noticed a change in my clothing. So I would attribute that to my increased activity. I believe that I'm, just kind of slimming down some. I am at the Weight Watchers goal. I'm at lifetime at my goal weight, but I really want to drop down just another 5 pounds for a little more breathing room. And I believe like it's kind of like now I think that I'm going to be able to start seeing just that weight loss as well. It's almost like I increased the exercise and now I feel like I'm going to see that change even at the scale. So I think this has really been beneficial.
Who would like to go next? Go ahead, Jody.
The last 6 months for me has been incredibly enlightening and helpful. Overall, I'm down about 10 pounds and 16 inches. More than that, I was pretending to be strong. I was pretending I was okay, and I was living on ibuprofen. There's only maybe once or twice a month now that I feel I even need an ibuprofen. I have been able to learn that it's okay to admit I'm not okay. And that's been the biggest change for me.
All right. Go ahead, Jane.
Hi, everybody. So what I really enjoyed about this group is that it has made me stay focused. It's also taught me something of how I want to, just a way to live my life and not worry about everybody else and what they're doing, because we're all doing something together, but individually. that makes sense. I've really grown in the last 6 months. I really enjoy it. Pity's like my medicine. It's like if I can't get, well, for sure I walk the dog twice a day, but like if I can't get my strength training or pickleball or my other activities in, I kind of feel lost. Like it's part of it's a habit. I feel lost if I can't do it. So I contribute that a lot to the group because of the focus and because of Donato, because of how you're doing things. So I have lost about 10 pounds. It fluctuates between 8 and 10. I too would like to get to the next level on the next 5. And so we'll talk about that later too.
And Cynthia.
These past 6 months provided me with valuable feedback and coaching. I felt like before, just by listening to the podcast and being in the consistency group, I had what it took to succeed, but this group kind of closed the gap. I felt like I had a bunch of pieces of the puzzle, but I wasn't putting them together. So this smaller group setting allowed me the accountability, the feedback, and the coaching just to put things together in a more effective way. I haven't lost a massive amount of weight, but I'm still down for the year. And what I'm really appreciating is that in the gym, my workouts are more effective because of the way I'm eating. This week is the week that we're testing ourselves. We test ourselves every 12 weeks. And my back squat is 240 pounds. I was so excited about it because it's a long story, but just to make it short, the way I eat influences the way I lift. I'm way stronger than I was 6 months ago. There's no doubt about it. And I know the nutrition, and they tell me that in the gym. And thanks to this group, nutrition is the base of everything that I'm doing. So I'm very grateful for that.
That's so awesome. Wow. You said 240 pounds?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man. That is so awesome. Sophie, did you want to make any comments on anything anybody said?
I think what I'm hearing from everyone is there's success in so many things besides the scale, and that's something we need to remember. And I know we've talked about this before, is that we give that scale so much control on our journey, but I want all of you even to write them down and look at everything that has happened the last 6 months to you and focus on the scale last, concentrate on everything that's happened to you. And even Cynthia said, she's not down a lot, but she's so much stronger. Look at how much you're lifting. Like these are huge celebrations, and it just makes me so happy to hear all of this. It's amazing.
Before we move on to the other stuff, for the people that mentioned pain improvement, if you can elaborate more, like how long did you have the pain, kind of a thing like that. If you could describe the pain a little bit, just to dig deeper, like Anne-Marie, you had mentioned knee pain.
With my knees, I've had a touch of arthritis in my knees, I've been told, and they would just hurt, especially we have a 2-story house going up and down the stairs. I would just feel my knees, or sometimes even feel a little bit of crackling in my knees. I've always been really cautious about what I've done. And because at one time when I was doing some lunges, I actually blew out one of my knees, and then that put me down for like 6 months. So I'm always really cautious on it. But what I started doing is I really started focusing on my lower body, but with my total gym, which it's not like putting your full body weight on it, but I started doing that. And the pain, I've had the pain for years. It did get better when I lost, over 60 pounds. It did improve, but I still had that pain until I really started focusing on the strength training of my legs and doing squats. And like I said, it really kind of just hit me. I was just going up and down the stairs going, I haven't felt this knee pain in a while. And so I was just like, this is awesome. This is what it feels like. And so, as I age and get older, I want to be able to get up and down the stairs. I want to be able to do stuff. And so I really feel like, it's really been since May, June that I really started doing the more strength training consistently. And so it's been a difference pretty quick.
That's great. Who else mentioned having pain? We talked about migraines a little bit. Taffy, what'd you say?
For me, there was a lot of things I think that I could attribute to the way I was eating. And although I thought I was eating healthy, I really wasn't. I was just making the wrong choices. Going through Weight Watchers and everything, I was point driven. If it was a low point, it didn't matter. If it was a sugary food, I ate it because I love sweets. So I think for me, with the migraine and everything, it's just a combination of the processed foods that I've given up. I'm not solely doing the protein and the meat, but I do incorporate the fruits and vegetables in it. I was taking aspirin all the time because I either thought I was getting a migraine or then I did get a migraine. And I also have really been mindful about alcohol. I didn't think I had an alcohol problem. I still don't think I do, but I wasn't mindful about it. I'd go out for lunch, I'd have a couple drinks, we'd go out for happy hour, you have a couple of drinks. I have only had one drink since June 1st, and that was last weekend. I was in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin for my daughter's bachelorette party. Flew into Chicago and went there. And I did my research before I had it. And I learned that if you have the organic pure tequila, that's good. It's okay. And it's very low in sugar. So I just had one with a slice of orange. It served the purpose. It was all good. I was fine. I didn't have any reactions from that at all. So it's been really good.
Love it. Phyllis, you had mentioned pain too?
I have had a real change in knee pain and shoulder pain. I mean, I'd had, been diagnosed with osteoarthritis and figured I'll just have to deal with this. And really, I hardly ever have pain anymore. To me, one of the biggest things was limiting the sugar and then also just moving regularly. And that's been over, I'd say about a year, a change that, and I used to take these supplements for that. And I quit taking them because I thought I don't need to take this stuff anymore. I don't have pain.
That's incredible. That's so awesome. I love it. Jody, you had mentioned pain too, right?
I had pretty much would wake up with a headache and go to bed with a headache. And this would last for days and days on end. That contributed to me not moving as much, which then contributed to when I did move, I just hurt more. I would take an ibuprofen when I woke up and I would take another one when I went to bed. I don't even remember when that started, but it lasted a long time. I think it was last year I was told that I was developing arthritis in my knees and that it's already bone on bone. And when I'm going up and down stairs, I have to be careful because it does still hurt. I've been able to focus on building up the muscles surrounding the knees, which has helped. It's really only when the weather begins to change that I feel it's starting to hurt. And yes, it'll hurt beyond something that I can just walk out. So I'll take some medicine then. But for the most part, all of that pain I was experiencing is gone.
I gotta love that. I mean, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. Sophie, did you want to comment at all on any of that?
I think it's important because I experienced this as well. And this was in the beginning of the year. I was walking down the stairs step by step because I had such pain in my hip and they told me I had slight arthritis in my hip. So for me, a lot of times, and this is why I have, the handle on the go Sophie is because I'm always on the go. And sometimes I would grab frozen meals out of the freezer because it's just faster for me and just a lot of processed foods. And when I started changing what I was eating, I noticed a difference like many of you. And it's important to pay attention to what we're putting into our bodies. And it's kind of like when I go to the grocery store and they already have chicken made, you could buy a whole chicken already made. And my husband and I looked at the ingredients. there must have been 18 ingredients in a chicken. And it's so important to read these labels of the foods that we're eating and what are these ingredients doing to our bodies. So I think making these changes, you notice the difference. Taffy said her skin, her hair, our joints, it affects everything in our bodies, not just the weight loss.
For me as well, right? So I dealt with a lot of pain when I first started WW and I decided I was going to start moving. I would go for a 20-minute walk and my knee would kill me for a day and a half. And that's how it started. And now when my knee hurts, it's telling me I need new sneakers. So that's the message I get from my knee now. Is I used to know when it was going to rain. I used to know all kinds of things. Now I just know when I need new sneakers, and I just think that's a huge win. Sometimes I'll think about when's the last time I felt knee pain, because when all of a sudden I'm feeling pain, I'm just like, I don't even remember the last time I felt knee pain. What did I do? Did I do something to myself? What I hear from all of you who had dealt with pain is that the majority of it seems to come from nutrition, and you guys have essentially taken your own pain and you've fixed it your own way, not just the common, you didn't accept what life said, where everybody's like, oh, you're getting old and this is the kind of thing that comes with old age. And now you guys are living a life based on simplistic decisions that you made, which are easy to plan but hard to do. And you guys did it anyway, and you're living great lives now because of it. I wanted to get a little more into Taffy. What happened with your skin? Like, did tell us about a little more about that. Did people just start coming up to you, or how did that happen when you started to realize that?
Yeah, actually, I noticed it. I'm a product junkie. I have to admit that. So I try everything for the skin. I've always be very conscious of the aging and things like that. So the first one was when I went in for a facial. It's the same girl that I go to for a facial. And she was like, what are you using? And I hadn't changed anything. This was the first time in, probably 4 or 5 months that I hadn't changed anything. And I was like, I haven't changed anything. Well, what is it? So we started talking about, what I'm doing with my eating and the nutrition. And she goes, that's it. And I noticed from a female standpoint, I noticed that like I don't have makeup. I don't need makeup. I just wear the tinted sunscreen now. In Florida, you sweat it off anyway. And the hair was the same thing. And my hair, I was losing my hair. Everybody was saying it was hormonal, but I was kind of past that. And I didn't really know what it was. And when I went to go get it cut 2 times ago, they asked, what are you using? What are you doing? And I'm like, oh my God, this is so exciting. So I couldn't wait to tell her about my journey with the eating. And she goes, that's it. That's all you really need to do. And I'm like, wow.
That's so awesome. I love it.
There was Donato, 10 years ago.
I was still on my way up. That's what I was doing 10 years ago. Jane, go ahead.
I didn't think about it when you asked about the pain, but I actually used to have pain. I couldn't lay on my left hip to sleep or my right hip. And my sleeping was just, I would wake up in the middle of the night and then I'd lay there. So when I started not eating processed foods and sugar, my sleep went to, I sleep really heavy now, which is great. And I don't have that sluggish feeling. I have a lot more energy, I guess you'd say, if that makes any sense. So I attribute that to not eating the processed foods and the sugar. And I had my blood work done in July. So that had been like 2 to 3 months after I had been doing this for a while. And my blood work turned out really well. Cholesterol was 130, which it says high, and I don't think that's high. And I had my bone density test taken. I hadn't taken it for 2 years, and it showed that nothing had increased. That pretty much stayed the same. So I was really pleased, and I attributed all that because of the way I was eating.
I wanted to talk to you guys about the experience so far. Whatever you thought this group was going to bring you, have I met those expectations? Is there anything else that you would like us to go over as we continue together that we have not discussed or gone over or anything like that? Go ahead, Phyllis.
This group has far exceeded my expectations. I feel like we have formed a community of like-minded people. The biggest thing I love about this group is that everybody is honest. I still go to regular Weight Watcher meetings. I still get frustrated with some of the things that people say about, oh, I just went and I had a great time and it was worth it. And everybody laughs and says, oh yeah, just don't even worry about it. And maybe there's a time and a place for that, but I get really frustrated with some of the things that people who come in and say they don't know why they're not seeing progress, but then they talk about things that they're doing. And I feel like this is a group where we can say, here's what's making the difference and be honest about it. It has gone far beyond what I was expecting and kind of hoping for.
That's great. Go ahead, Jane.
I didn't know what to expect, and I honestly didn't think I'd stick with it as diligently as I have. It's just been fabulous, and I said that in the beginning. I appreciate all of you, and I appreciate you, Janana, so much, because if it hadn't been for you, I wouldn't have made these changes, and I wouldn't be feeling the way I'm feeling, and I wouldn't be doing the activity I'm doing, and I would have fallen into what my family and friends are doing, which isn't the best. And I just really feel that it's the group and the consistency and listening to the podcast and all the good stuff. So thank you. I look forward to what you have us doing in the future.
All right. Go ahead, Cynthia.
This group felt like fine-tuning all the things that you have spoken about in all the seasons of the podcast. Again, I think you get a lot as a person, as a listener, you can get a lot out of the podcast, but because of the type of the group and then the feedback, I was able to just fine tune what I was trying to do, which was consistency. It was, as Phyllis said, is an honest environment. So you can say, this is the problem I'm having. I remember asking a couple of months ago, how do I become a person that is consistent all the time? Like, what do I do? And this format allows for that. In other group formats, you only have 15 minutes and there's 300 people that need to speak. So you can't do that. So I appreciate this format. I also appreciate the exercises you gave us. They were very good. And I decided to have an open mind and open heart to do them, because that repetition day after day after day to ask, what are you struggling with? What are you proud of? What do you wish you would take back? And what are you grateful for? It allowed me to just face what I was facing. And then I had to make a decision. Do I keep going the same way or do I fix this? So it just gave me more tools, but it wasn't just like, oh, okay, I got these tools, but it just helped me to execute. I feel like as a listener, like I get a lot of the podcast, don't get me wrong, but sometimes just like, all right, let me go have my week. But this group format, it just helped me with execution.
That's wonderful. Okay, Jody, go ahead.
Similar to what Phyllis and Cynthia said, when I joined this group, I was hoping to be in a group of people who were going to be raw, vulnerable, honest, and that whenever one of us spoke up about whatever struggle we may be facing, then there would be honest feedback. That's what we've received. And another expectation I had was that this group was going to be, I guess you could say, the inspiration for me truly finding my own redemption. That's exactly what I've been able to do.
That's wonderful. Anne Marie.
This group has been awesome. Let me just start with that. In the beginning, when you were on one of your shows, just asking and talking about this group, I was like, oh, that would be so great. I should do it. I put off because I was scared to do it because I knew I was going to have to then face things I had been putting off in myself. I knew if it was all up and personal with you, Donato, and your group, that I was going to have to face myself and make things happen. And so I was kind of like putting it off and saying, no, I'm sure he's already got it filled up. And I had posted something that I was going to try, and I think it had to do with macros or something in one of your social media pages. And then you messaged me, and I was like, okay, this is a sign from God. I need to like get in this group. And you got me in like at the last minute. It's just been truly a blessing. And everybody in the group, we're all different, but yet we're all alike in so many ways. And we have ups and downs in life, in weight, and everything. And it's just so nice. Like I feel the sense of accountability to everyone in the group. And it really keeps me going so much more, even than like I do go to weekly WW meetings, and I have friends there, but this group has just surpassed my expectations. And I thank you all.
Thanks for joining. Go ahead, Taffy.
I was really hesitant to join. I have to be honest. It was like, oh my God, is this just going to be another? I was at my wit's end, to be perfectly honest. I really felt like I was out of control in my life with so many things. So I was really hesitant. I thought that this was just going to be another quick fix, but I was so wrong. I feel so focused, the control word for me is gone. It's out of my vocabulary. I feel at peace. That's because of all of you and because of you, Donato. And I think you taught me how to research. That was also something that, I didn't do. It was just like everything in my life was do something drastic and quick. You taught me different. And then I think just the reinforcement of everybody here, like talking about being vulnerable and being able to be perfectly honest, was really important for me. And your podcast, I still swear to God, you're talking to me. I mean, I'm sure it hits somebody else, but I don't know what it is. It's just like you reinforce everything that we talk about. And I say, oh my God, he's talking to me. He hit it home again. So it's been above and beyond my expectations.
That's wonderful. I love it. Sophie, you want to say anything?
I just want to congratulate all of you for taking the leap, because I'm sure there's many individuals who heard Donato's podcast and felt like, oh, I'm not going to do that. I don't want to open up. I don't feel comfortable. And you took that leap, and it sounds like everyone's super happy, and I'm proud of all of you. I really am.
I am. I'm also proud of all of you guys. I had visions of what I wanted this group to be like, and it has definitely become everything I wanted and more. I wanted people to recognize all of the things that I had recognized. I wanted to see, the biggest realization was that you didn't need to be perfect. Telling someone you don't need to be perfect, it goes right through one ear and out the other. No one wants to hear that. Like, what do you mean I don't have to be perfect? What do you mean I can make mistakes all of the time, every day of my life, and still be successful? They don't want to hear that. They want to believe that their situation is very different. And I feel like being in this group with you guys, I have helped you guys realize that more than anything, that one statement is at least true. Out of everything I say to you guys, the one statement that perfection is a delusion, and you really just need to be consistently imperfect. And that has come to life in all of your lives. And I love it. Everything I've wanted for all of you is now showing. We're only 6 months in here. And I just can't wait to see what happens next, kind of a thing. So speaking of what happens next, I want to talk about anything you guys think we haven't covered, anything you think you might need help with, something even if you have like plans that you want, something you want to introduce in your life, whatever the case may be. or something you can foresee as an upcoming issue that you want to be able to attack and then you don't know how to do it. So let's talk about that and see if we can't integrate it into the next coming months of us meeting together. Go ahead, Anne Marie.
I would really like to have help with the upcoming holidays. And I know as holidays get closer, it's harder to meet, but I don't know. I haven't really thought about it, but I was thinking of either some challenges or, you've had some podcasts in the past during holiday seasons where, we looked at where we were at like October 1st and where we're at the end of December, and maybe having our group could have some little challenges or extra check-ins or tips about the holidays and getting through things, because it's definitely a challenge for me. And that's what I would really like some help with.
All right.
So I would like help with the slippery slope. I've done really good, but now I'm kind of, something shows up and so I give in to whatever. And I don't want to do that. I like the way I was when I was totally on task. I just feel like I need to move to the next level. I need to keep it going and be more diligent. I know consistency is key.
Okay. Go ahead, Taffy.
I would really like some help with plateaus, but it might be good to have a challenge for us, help us with that next level, with no matter, what we're facing. I don't know what that would be. I haven't gotten into strength training except for one Pilates class a week.
Okay. Cynthia, go ahead.
We live in a world where there's not one way to lose weight. Different people follow different blends. And now with medications, in a space where a lot of people I love, a lot of people I work with are using medications. It is not my path, but it's theirs. And I don't want to be judgmental. I want to be supportive. And I think that's a conversation we haven't had. I wonder what your take is. And I guess it's a it's a big ask for the future. But what I'm choosing to do, and I guess that's the ask is like for inspiration, is just like how we can encourage others to be their very best without assuming they need to do the same thing that we're doing. And it's just like we all have different likes as far as food, exercises, like we're all so unique in that way. You know what? It doesn't work for me. It works for these people that I like. It works for relatives, like people I work with. How can I encourage them just to be their best without, just trying to be the know-it-all?
Okay. Jody, go ahead.
The current struggle that I'm facing that I don't think we've covered yet are those pesky hormones and how to navigate that. I'm finding myself consistently every 2 weeks of every single month overeating, and I really don't know how to navigate that. I'm afraid that I'm going to end up going backwards with what progress I've made so far. I have brought it up with my doctor, but the only thing that was suggested was a weight loss medication to help me lose the weight, and that's not something that I want to do. That I just need some help learning how to navigate this.
And you know what some good news is that Donato and I are recording a podcast with a really amazing woman who is a food scientist, right, Donato? And a chemical engineer.
Yeah.
And we are going to record that. That's coming up. I'm really excited about it. And we hopefully are going to help all the women out there that are going through this right now. And we can always touch base afterwards as well, Jody, if Donato wants to open it up again when we all meet after that episode is released.
Yeah, we'll talk to everyone, and we'll spread the word when we have it's all coming. And I think that's going to be a great conversation to be had with Christine. The more voices we get saying it, the more attention gets brought to it. And when you challenge a narrative where things have to go a certain way, the pioneers of that method or the pioneers that are pushing that are always going to work the hardest. And maybe the system buckles and, things change, or maybe it doesn't change at all. And it's just always going to be a fight. But now it looks like the odds are against us, but it doesn't mean you don't bring attention to it.
I want to say something.
Go.
I think maybe we could dip a little into strength training and the importance of it. That also helps with aches and joints. And Cynthia is a rock star in it. I see her Instagram account and she's just rocking it. So maybe she can, help others as well, and how she got started. And, that would help someone out there who wants to give it a try, because especially women, we're a little intimidated and scared to try that.
Well, to close out today's podcast, I want to do the same thing we did in part 5. I want each of you to declare something positive over your life as if it already happened, even if it hasn't.
Nothing stopped me from reaching my goal. Peace, grace, and self-control led me here. I am able to help others as a result of my successful journey.
I am incredibly healthy. My body is so strong. My mind is so clear. I am unstoppable, and my well-being is so contagious to everything and everyone I encounter.
I know that I'm living each and every day mindful of my health journey.
I've learned how to live in a healthy way by eating foods that are not processed. My limit of sugar, and I'm active 6 days a week. I'm 70 years old and I'm still growing because I'm not done yet.
Living a healthy lifestyle is not always easy, but I do hard things. I have several sources of enjoyment in my life, and eating is no longer that major source.
I was fearfully and wonderfully made, and I embrace who I was made to be. My body was created to be a vessel of holiness, and it is being treated with the love and respect it deserves. My weaknesses are made strong by the one who loves me, and I am an overcomer because I was not given a spirit of fear. I have become a living testimony of God's goodness and faithfulness.
Every single one of you are driven and determined, and you have also accomplished everything you have set your mind to.
Redemption Ranch exists today because all of you have shown bravery when faced with fear, have shown courage when it came time to be vulnerable, and you have shown determination when faced with adversity. You are today and forevermore the foundation of Redemption Ranch. Be proud today, as I am proud of you. I love each and every one of you. God bless you all.